I also extend my welcome to the teachers and students of other colleges and universities across the country to be associated with us. I also see the faces of senior teachers of our country on the screen. I extend my regard to them. Friends, today we have with us Professor Pramod Kumar, the regular speaker of, of the philosophy family, the convener of the philosophy family. He the HOD of philosophy, Noyagada Autonomous College, Noyagada. He is a very brilliant student, scholar, and teacher. I don't want to introduce him because he is very familiar across the country. Friends, today is a special day for me to be connected in the lecture program on the contemporary Indian philosophy. Today the topic is evolution, reality, and interior logo in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. It will be presented by Professor Das. As Professor Das bears a very good understanding of Indian philosophy and contemporary Indian philosophy, he is able to present it in a lucid manner to reach at the level of UG and PG students. He also had it on last Saturday, but he again wants to present his talk on the same theme because the last lecture did not satisfy him, and he wanted to reflect on it and to present this topic in a new manner from a different perspective. You know, reading Sri Aurobindo is a challenge, and presenting the teaching of Sri Aurobindo is the greatest challenge that Professor Das has undertaken. Today, we are eager to listen him that is on this topic. I offer my welcome to Professor Das and request him to reflect on the topic evolution, the reality, and interior logo in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Over to Professor Das.
Thank you, Dr. Maharana sir, for your nice introduction. Pranam to all the esteemed participants of this session and my dear students. Today, really we have a very beautiful topic. Philosophy of Sri Aurobindo itself is very beautiful, wonderful, inspiring, touching, very interesting. It is interesting because it is integral by nature. It is reflected in our life. Last Saturday we were discussing about the same topic, but I personally found that I am not really involved in my talk. My flow was breaking. So when flow breaks, and that indicates that there is no descent. There is no descent of the higher consciousness in the lower activities. And this is Aurobindo's philosophy. The descent can be felt, can be experienced if we have that understanding and that vision. We can feel, we can enjoy our activities. That is karma yoga. Just to do action, that is karma. But when we enjoy our action, when we know the technique of doing our action, yoga karmesu kausalam, that is karma yoga. Then how do you enjoy your work? That is real involvement. So the last talk was not so impressive. Therefore, today we are discussing that again. The point is, if we shall take dialectic as a very sound and advanced way of thinking, in Indian context, in the contemporary period, the best example is Sri Aurobindo for his dialectical thinking. Dialectical thinking presupposes two opposite views, and for Sri Aurobindo, the opposite views were materialism and spiritualism. These two are the opposing trends of thought, the ways of life, and that determine the culture of a society, a nation, culture of all of us. Either we are materialist or spiritualist, and there is a competition between these two trends. Materialist philosophers claim that they are realist by nature, they are realistic by nature. They are very much useful for the society. They are very practical, they are very pragmatic, they are successful. That is how we can define our life as successful, meaningful, significant. And those who believe in spiritualism, or those who are involved in spiritual activity, spiritual sadhana, they claim, they don't claim, they feel, they realize that they realize the truth, and they feel the difference between these two. That what is the transient pleasure, what is the transient pleasure and the eternal happiness, bondage and liberation, ignorance and knowledge. A spiritual person is aware of this because he is not satisfied with the world of changes, the world of diversity, the world of material achievements. So generally, we have two types of people having two mindsets. But the problem is both are dogmatic. Both are dogmatic if they don't include each other. A materialist is dogmatic because he is dogmatic in his approach of reality of his life, and a spiritualist is also dogmatic because he thinks that matter is not real. Matter is not real. Anything material has no significance. This is also another dogmatic thought. So, to have an integral personality, to have an integral experience, to understand the truth as such, we should have a complete view. We should have an integral view. We should have a total vision of the truth. That means the total possibilities, total manifestations of one thing. One thing with its manifoldness, with its multiple, with its possibilities, possible manifestations. If we are aware of the unity, but at the same time we are ignorant of the multiplicity or diversity or its infinite possible manifestations, then it is one-sided. Then we are ignorant. Advaita philosophy commits this mistake, that the Brahman is the ultimate truth and Jagat is said to be mithya. There is also a dispute regarding this, whether Jagat is mithya and Jagat is unreal. Mithya is not unreal. The debate is like that. But so, in common parlance, we can understand that Brahman is given the status of the ultimate truth, and Ishvara, Jagat, creation, Maya, all these things are unreal. Practically, or from the perspective of the Vyavaharika Satta, or from the perspective of Paramarthika Satta, that is different. But there is a clear-cut distinction between these two realms. But in the contemporary philosophy, not only Sri Aurobindo, almost all contemporary philosophers, they have tried to make philosophy very practical, to make philosophy very contemporary, to make philosophy very compatible with the present society, present way of living, present understanding, present scientific thought. Therefore, we cannot ignore matter when we are discussing about spirit. We cannot ignore spirit when we are involved in science laboratory, when we are doing research on matter. So matter and spirit, they appear to be opposites, but they are one and the same thing. They are the two possible manifestations of one thing. We cannot say that real is material. We cannot say that real is spiritual. To say this, it is one-sided. If you describe that the real is material by nature, it is atomic by nature, this is one-sided. Even we cannot say that the real is spiritual by nature. This is also one-sided. Because by saying spiritual, if we negate materiality in it, then it is not integralism. Spirituality does not negate anything, rather it includes everything. It is all inclusive. So matter and spirit are integral to each other. They don't contradict, there is no contradiction. They are the manifestations of the same entity. So when we discuss about the ultimate spirit, the pure consciousness, Sachitananda, there also the status of matter is present. That cannot be avoided. But at no point we can miss matter. This is a great achievement. Because to be spiritual is not to be out of matter. This is also discussed in Patanjali Yoga that Sarira, the body, the physical body, is very much necessary and its discipline is also necessary. Therefore, there are different disciplines relating to body. We do different types of asana. We do pranayam. All these are necessary because a sound body, sound health is necessary for any type of mental purification. Mental purification is not possible without a sound body, sound health. It is not possible. Man should be sick-free. Man should be disease-free. Man should not have any type of disease, unnatural disease, self-caused disease. Now we are suffering many diseases which are caused by ourselves, by our food habit, by our different types of by our living style also. We create many types of disease, and most of them both are physical and psychological or mental. That means for a complete personality, for an integrated personality, man should be perfect in every possibility of his existence. This we have to understand. Then, out of the matter and consciousness, Aurobindo is claiming that everything is conscious. Everything is conscious. When we speak of matter, the matter is also conscious. The matter is also conscious. Because the same consciousness is present in different spheres of reality in different degrees. By consciousness, we generally we have a misconception that this is a human consciousness. When we think of consciousness, we think that this is human consciousness. I am conscious. That I am in the waking state, in the dream state, in the dreamless sleep state. So these consciousness are related to human consciousness. That I am in the waking state, waking consciousness. I am the dream state, the dream consciousness. Dreamless sleep consciousness, pure consciousness. I am conscious of this human consciousness. But here the consciousness is not a human consciousness. Here consciousness is objective. It is not subjective. We should have this understanding that consciousness is an objective entity. It is not subjective. If it is subjective, then it is subject to change. My subjective consciousness is different from others. But consciousness here is the objective consciousness. That means beyond human beings, there is consciousness. Consciousness is the objective principle, which is therefore it can be said that consciousness is in everything. Generally, we have a misconception that only human beings are capable of being conscious. Man is a conscious being, man is a rational animal. The very statement, man is a rational animal, is a very famous statement. Man is rational. But we don't know how much rational animals are. Many instances are there. We find that animals are more rational than human beings. I am not going to discuss that. It will take a long time. They may not do mathematics. They may not have scientific creation. But regarding mathematics, I shall give you one example. That when a cat crosses the road, and the cat is very much aware of the speed of the auto rickshaw, which is come from the opposite side. And the cat regulates her speed according to the speed of the auto rickshaw, so that it can cross the road. So the cat has also that sense of calculation to accelerate the speed or to be slow. So there are so many instances that they can do also. They have mathematics sense. They know how to regulate their speed, when to be slow, when to go fast. So man is a rational animal, or man is only a conscious being. This is a misconception. But man is such an instrument in the divine creation that consciousness is well reflected. And man is such an wonderful being in the divine creation that man can understand the reality. This is the great thing of the creation of a human being. But what is the limitation? The limitation is that every state of our knowledge is the state of ignorance. Very beautifully, Sri Aurobindo says that ignorance is not the absence of knowledge. Ignorance is a state of knowledge. Ignorance is not the absence of knowledge as we generally understand. Somebody is ignorant means he has no knowledge. So we are making a clear-cut distinction between ignorance and knowledge. Knowledge means which is absent of ignorance, and ignorance means which is absent of knowledge. No, that is not the way. Because then in the process of evolution, every step of knowledge is a state of ignorance, and every state of ignorance is also a state of knowledge. So ignorance is nothing but an expression of that pure consciousness. So in ignorance, we cannot say that pure consciousness is absent. Because that is, if we say so, then it cannot be integral. Integral means we have to accept all the pairs of opposites, not pairs of the opposites, all the opposites, possible opposites. In everything, there is the manifestation of consciousness, even in ignorance. So it is generally supposed that consciousness is reflected in spirit. So here we can take the dialectical position that consciousness is there present in matter. Secondly, it is generally thought that consciousness is there in the consciousness means it is the pure state of knowledge. So we can take the dialectical position by saying that consciousness is there in the ignorance. So the finest ignorance, that means the lower, that is called nescience. Nescience means the complete ignorance, and the complete knowledge, pure consciousness, they are one and the same. They are one and the same, because that is the integration of the pure consciousness, and that is called the lila, according to Sri Aurobindo. Lila means when something higher gets involved in the lower. I am giving an example. When a mother feeds her child, when a mother plays with her child, mother descends into the stage of the child. The mother becomes the child, and the child thinks that he or she is playing with his or her friend. So the mother becomes a friend for the child when the mother descends to the stage of the child. That means coming down. So this is the lila of mother. Mother plays this lila. This is lila of mother for the child. But the same personality, same mother, same person is playing a different type of lila with a different type of emotion, sense of response, duty, responsibility, when she is playing the role of a wife before her husband. This is another type of lila. That means in the unmanifest state, in the pure consciousness state, I am that pure consciousness, but I have to plunge into the very language, plunge into ignorance. When Sachidananda plunges into ignorance, that means for any type of creation, we have to plunge into the lower state, otherwise we can't create. I am giving another example. Suppose the principal is highly educated, because he is the principal of a college, and there are so many other professors who are also very much educated. But the non-teaching staff, even the class 4 staff, they are not so much educated. But a principal has to manage with all staff of the college, otherwise he cannot be a good principal. So when he talks with a peon or a class 4 employee, he has to plunge into the ignorance level or knowledge level of that employee. Otherwise he can't manage. That is called a good manager. That is called an efficient manager who can plunge into the lower stage. What is our crisis today? Our crisis is that we are not satisfied with our own state. We feel jealous of others' perfection, others' achievement, and by comparing that, we feel frustrated, we feel disheartened, and we think that this life is meaningless. But the greatest humility is that the greatest achievement of a personality is that having all achievements, having all dignity, credit, qualifications, one can manage to down himself to the level of downtrodden. To the common, who is a good teacher? Who can teach the student of the last bench? Who can teach the most dull student? He is a good teacher because that means the teacher can plunge into the ignorance level of the student. By doing that, the teacher does not become a student. The teacher does not lose his credit, lose his sense anyway. But that is the leela. That is called leela. That means the higher can be involved in the lower, and that is called also descent. That descent is there because only that thing can descend which is higher in reality. Which is higher in reality. And descent is not possible without chetana, without consciousness. Something is descending into something means there is a force because it is a movement. When a mother is descending to the level of a child, it is a conscious plan, it is a conscious force, it is not mechanical. So when we are discussing about descent, it is teleological. It is a conscious force. It is not that dull movement. It is a very forceful movement. Suppose one is playing the role of a Ravana on the stage. He may be very simple man in his real life. But when he is playing the role of Ravana on the stage, he should behave like a Ravana. He should have that force. When the teacher is teaching in the classroom, the teacher should have a force. So coming down or plunging into ignorance is also a conscious force. And that is the beauty of a manifestation. One can become many. One can become many by that force. Scientifically, we can also explain this. Suppose there is an atom bomb. When an atom bomb is exploded, we can imagine its effect. But it is very thin in size. But how can it be effective? Because that is the force. The force is there, because of which manifestation is possible. And Sri Aurobindo says, this is a conscious force. This is consciousness. So existence is the root, but that existence is a conscious existence. It is not a mechanical existence. Existence of what? The existence of the higher entity, something higher. That higher entity exists, and that is self-existent, that is Sat, which cannot be contradicted, which exists irrespective of changes of space, time, and other conditions. That pure existence is also conscious, and it has conscious force. Otherwise, it cannot descend. Otherwise, it cannot descend into the lower entities. Otherwise, it cannot be manifested. Otherwise, it cannot participate in any process of creation. So that is a conscious force. Otherwise, descent is not possible. And the third one is, it is a state of ananda. It is the blissful state. It is a joy. It is a joy. So that joy is also lila. It is a joy. When a mother becomes a child, mother does not do her duty. It is not duty. It is not duty. Duty is good, but sometimes we do duty for the sake of duty. It is not that. It is duty out of love. Because love determines everything. Love is the source of creation. It is joy. It is ananda. And this is that ananda which is never faded away by anything else, any suffering, any change. That is the source of all inspiration, source of all ananda, source of all creation. So creation or manifestation or change or plunging into the ignorance or descent into the lower entities, whatever we call, that is not possible by two things. One is conscious force and the other is bhakti or shraddha or ananda or blissful state. That is joy. So the higher entity can be described by three principles. One is Sat, the other is Chit, and the other is Ananda. Satchidananda. Satchidananda is the highest principle. So Aurobindo is not saying that it is Brahma. Aurobindo is not saying that it is Ishvara. Aurobindo is not saying that it is Allah or any personal God. Even it is not Brahman, as Vedanta says. It is only the principle. That principle is self-existent or pure existence, principle of pure existence. We all have existence. We all have existence, but our existence is subject to change. Our existence can be defined by our changing aspects of life. But what is the principle of existence? The ultimate principle of existence. That everything exists. By that principle, everything exists. That is the pure existence, the Sat, that is called Sat. But that pure existence is a conscious force. Here, spiritualism differs from science. They claim that existence is the atomic existence. It has no consciousness. They are claiming that it is energy. That is energy. But here we are claiming that is a conscious force. That existence is not a mechanical existence. It is a purposive existence. It has a conscious force. And because of that force, the descent and ascent is possible. And that existence is also blissful, ananda. Therefore, human beings have three possibilities. There are three possibilities in nature, in cosmos. In cosmos, there are three possibilities. One is existence, the other is consciousness force, and the third one is bliss, ananda, satchit ananda. This is the cosmic entity, the common cosmic entity, the higher entity. Beyond that, nothing can be imagined. The highest imagination is pure existence, pure consciousness, and pure bliss. We can have that reflection in human beings, karma, jnana, karma, and bhakti. The cosmic manifestation of Satchitananda, Sat, existence means we have to do something. We have to do our duty. For our existence, we have to be involved in karma yoga. Consciousness force is there in the cosmic plane. From that, man is seeking after knowledge, wisdom. We need knowledge. We need jnana yoga. And for that Ananda, we need devotion or bhakti. So to attain that, to realize that Satchitananda, to attain that Satchitananda, Sat Chit and Ananda, we have to be very much perfect in our karma, jnana, and bhakti. There, and if we are very much aware of, conscious of, and we culture all these three possibilities of jnana, karma, and bhakti, then that yoga can be called integral yoga. It is not a discipline of karma and jnana and bhakti can be compromised, or simply a development of jnana, karma, and bhakti are compromised. It is not a development of bhakti that jnana and karma are compromised. If it is so, then it is not integral yoga. That means your yoga is partial, your discipline is partial, your achievement is partial. If there are three principles in cosmos, Satchitananda, Sat, Chit, and Ananda, similarly, there are all these three disciplines relating to these cosmic principles: Sat, existence, karma yoga; consciousness, jnana yoga; bliss, bhakti yoga. So these three yogas or these three disciplines should be cultured by human being. Absence of any one of it cannot make it integral or purna yoga. So for that, the existence of a human being is very, very, very important in this creation, because man is a privileged being who can understand this scheme, the cosmic scheme of Satchitananda and the individual scheme of jnana, karma, and bhakti. In yoga means individual. Yoga means our own mechanism. Yoga means what we can do. But cosmic scheme means what is already there. There is Satchitananda. But how can we realize that Satchitananda? In order to realize that Satchitananda, we have to go through the integral yoga. Integral yoga means the all-inclusive yoga, which can take care of all the faculties of our essence, that is karma, jnana, and bhakti. Cognitive, cognitive, and affective faculties of our existence. But how is it possible? How is it possible? For this, we have to understand the nature of our mind. So the concept of mind is very, very important in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. How can one practice integral yoga in order to understand Satchitananda? Satchitananda is the highest reality. Realization of that highest reality is the ultimate goal of life. Aurobindo says that not only the realization of the Satchitananda, you have to become that. You have to transform to that state. But in order to transform, you have to start with your material body, your psyche, your life, your mind. All these things you have to deal with. You cannot avoid any one of these. So matter is necessary, life is necessary. Life as it is, not that you shall borrow a very beautiful or good life from your neighbor. The life that is gifted to you is your life. You can have all types of yogic practices out of that source only. You can't change your parents. You need not change in your society. Your life is yours, and that life is a divine life. Because Aurobindo is very much clear about one thing, that the divinity is very much present in everything. So no life is useless. No life is meaningless. Every life is a divine life. But there is a veil, there is an wall Therefore, the truth is not seen. The truth is not realized by us. Truth is not realized because we are occupied by a particular level of knowledge which is called ignorance. If we hold on, or if we cling to a particular conviction, particular level of understanding, particular level of knowledge, that is ignorance. Because we can't break the flow of the river. Knowledge is just like a river. If we try to break the flow of the river and claim that this is my qualification, this is my knowledge, then that is the definition of ignorance. Your ignorance is that. So don't claim any state of your knowledge as knowledge, because knowledge is evolving. So, so what is the point? The point is that we have to understand Aurobindo's conception of Satchitananda, which is the highest reality, and it can be experienced by human beings. That yes, there is something pure existence. Yes, how can we think of pure existence? We can think of a pure existence from the relative existence. That my existence is relative, his existence is relative, the existence of a plant is relative. So from the relative existence, we can realize the pure existence, that there must be something which is purely existent, which has no existence, which is sthiti by nature, which is existence by principle. Similarly, from the different gradation, different levels of our understanding, we can imagine that there must be a pure understanding, pure consciousness. Similarly, there are different types of selfish love, different types of propensities. We can imagine that there must be a state of pure bliss. As we can imagine that from the state of confusion, we can say that there is a state of sthitapagya. There must be an equipoised mind. So from the disturbances, we can imagine the solution. So this is a common human experience, that Satchitananda is the ultimate reality. But by saying that, many great philosophers, they have condemned, they have rejected, they have denied the material world as false or meaningless. But Sri Aurobindo says that pure consciousness is in everything, that pure existence is in everything, and that pure ananda or bliss is in everything. This is the beauty of a philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. And not only it is not only descriptive, it is functional by nature, functional in the sense the higher entity, the Satchitananda, that descends into the lower, intelligently, consciously, teleologically, purposively, and with joy, with ananda. There is an ananda. So the entire creation is full of ananda. There is joy, there is bliss. There is no suffering. We suffer because of our ignorance. There is an eternal pleasure, the eternal ananda is there. Internal pleasure, not the ordinary pleasure. Because there is eternal pleasure, we are not satisfied with finite pleasures. Why finite pleasures can't please us? Because the pleasure is infinite by nature. Therefore, we are not satisfied with any finite pleasure. We are satisfied for 1 hour or 2 hours, for 1 day or 1 year or 2 years, but one day will come, we are not satisfied. We want still more. Because we are infinite by ourselves. We have to understand this. And this is a human possibility. This understanding is a human possibility. So that Satchitananda can descend into the lower hemisphere. And what is the lowest? The lowest hemisphere is called matter. So that the dialectical position is matter and pure consciousness. Many philosophers, they have made their system dualistic, dualism. Dualism means matter and spirit, they are independently real. And when they say that they are independently real, they have to give they have to explain the relation between matter and spirit, and for that they have given many types of relation between how they are related. Plato gave one model, Aristotle gave another model, Descartes gave another model, Shankara gave another. Many philosophers, they have given different types of relation between matter and spirit. But see, Aurobindo says they are integral to each other. They are integral by nature. In matter, matter is nothing but consciousness, and in consciousness there is also matter. They are the two manifestations of the same thing, and that is through the process of descent and ascent. So integration means the descent through ascent. If something can descend into the lower, and if something can ascend through the higher, that means there is a very good communication. There is a good interconnectivity among the diversity. And that interconnectivity is a conscious interconnectivity. That is not mechanical. So, as we had discussed, the lower hemisphere and higher hemisphere. In the lower hemisphere, we can take matter, psyche, life, and mind. Matter, psyche, life, and mind, and matter, life, psyche, and mind, and next is supermind and Sat Chit Ananda. So in the lower hemisphere, this is also a stage of evolution. In the process of evolution, we have reached the state of matter, life, psyche, and mind, and human beings are privileged of having a very sophisticated mind. There is no doubt to say that the mind is nothing but a brain, as Western thinkers say. Yes, it is a brain. It is a physiological part. It is a biological part. It is a mechanism. But it is so sophisticated, it can transcend. Mind can transcend mind. Therefore, spiritualist philosophers, they have realized different levels of mind. Different levels of minds means different levels of consciousness. So very beautifully, Aurobindo says, the objective truth is there. It is not that the truth is only understood by human mind. Then it will be subjective. The interpretation will be subjective. That as man understands, so he describes. It is not like that. The truth is objective, the consciousness is objective, the existence is objective, the bliss is objective. Satchidananda is objectively true. But how can we realize, how can we transform ourselves from the lower perfection to the higher? From that, we should have to develop subjectively. Our subjective development is very much necessary, and that is the development through mind. And we all belong to mind. We all have mind. As Western thinkers, they say that we all have a brain. So having brain is the common qualification of all human beings. That yes, we have brain is an asset. We have a very beautiful asset of a brain. But beyond that, Sri Aurobindo and many great thinkers, they have realized that beyond brain, beyond mind, man has different possibilities of understanding, depending upon different levels of consciousness. And he has given so many examples. Beyond the mind, there is a higher mind. What is higher mind? The vigilant mind. The vigilant, and he is not hurry, he is discussing step by step. That one can understand every step. The higher mind, the role of higher mind is simply to observe the lower mind. Only the just like the invigilator in the examination hall. The invigilator can't help any student. The students are minds, they are engaged in their duties. They are doing their duties. Invigilators are there to invigilate, to observe the activities of the students. Similarly, the lower mind is in different types of thinking, different types of activities. Because mind is to react, mind is to respond. Mind has different types of thoughts. But the higher mind is watching it. So now the question is, how many of us have possessed that higher mind? Supermind is a very great reach, is a great achievement. How many of us have reached, have possessed the higher mind? What is that higher mind? The only mind which can observe the activities of the lower mind. This much. So another calling it that spiritual parent, as mother observes the activities of the child, and the child is ignorant that he or she is being observed. Similarly, the mind is engaged in activities. That is, we are doing of activities. We are thinking many things. We are engaged in our thinking. We are accepting different types of emotions. We are involved in different types of emotional activities. We have different types of emotion. But all these activities are a higher. How many? Many of us have that mind. When we go to sleep at night, many of us we think that no, today I committed a mistake, I should not do like this. This is higher mind. The higher mind who can watch, who can guard, who can at least think that I committed a mistake or I did something good. If you review your action, if you review your thought, if you have that ability, then you be sure that your higher mind is working. Your higher mind is guiding you. For that, you don't need a professor, you don't need to be a great yogi. A very simple man can have this higher mind. If he has Shraddha, if he is really involved in the process of creation, that is called Leela. That means one has to observe the very small activities of life. Very small activities. Suppose somebody is doing very small work, just work how he is doing. Similarly, we always watch how others are doing their works. Similarly, we have to watch how our mind thinks, how our mind in which our mind thinks, because it is the nature of mind to be observed by a favorable object. Next, we have our mind gets attached to it. This is the nature of mind. We can't avoid it. This is the prakriti. This is the nature of mind that it will be observed by the available objects, by the favorable objects. Therefore, parents take great pain to provide suitable objects for the children so that their mind will not be disturbed. But the higher mind watches becomes vigilant of our engagement of their minds, in how the lower mind is getting engaged in what things and how long, in what intensity, whether it is returning from that or not. Everything is watched by higher mind. And after that, there is another state, another qualification, that is illumined mind. In illumined mind, here in the higher mind, there is only observation. There is only, the mind is vigilant, the mind is alert. But the illumined mind, the mind can visualize the truths. I am giving an example. Suppose the child is playing on the road. The child is playing on the road. Mother is watching the child. Child does not know. Mother is watching the child, that the child is playing on the road. The watching is higher mind. When that in one unity of an individual, different minds work in one individual, we can understand the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Here mother and child are two different minds. Child is playing and mother is observing the child. So the very observe of that activity is called the higher mind. But at the same time, mother has an intuition. Mother has an illuminative mind, that mother can see the truth. That now the child is playing on the road and the car is coming and an accident may take place. So the total truth or the higher extent of truth can be realized by the illumined mind. So my mind not only engaged in observation, my mind also the consequence, what is going to happen. That is a complete vision of the truth, apprehension of the truth. Number one, number two, mind is observed. Number three, mind alert. Mind alert of the sequence. I am getting angry. This is a fact of mind. I know that I am getting angry. This is higher mind. I can see the consequences of my anger. This is illumined mind. I get angry. This is mind. This is natural. Everybody gets angry. But very few, they know that they are angry. This is higher mind. Still, some people are there. They are very much concerned. If I shall say this, if I shall do this, then what will happen? They are very much aware of the consequences. That means the truth is truth. They are very much nearer to truth. That this is the truth that is going to happen. So the distance is getting, the distance is not, the distance is very less. So that is the illumined mind where we can have a visualization of the truth, when we can envision the truth, when we see truth. That is called the vision of the truth. Understanding the truth and the vision of truth, that means the truth is visible to us. When we are in the state of crisis, when we are in the state of confusion, frustration, we can't visualize the truth. It is very hard. It's very difficult. But this is called yoga. Integral yoga means you deal with the fact, you deal with the problem with an equipped mind. That means it is not a yoga or a meditation in the meditation hall. No. This is integral in the sense your mind is getting disciplined through the crisis of the world. Through the crisis of the world. There is instantly there is a problem. You are involved in that problem, and you are watching it, and you are visualizing its consequence, and you are taking a very conscious active role in that crisis. If you are able to do that, this is yoga. Yoga does not mean that you will go to ashrama and in the evening or in the morning you can meditation, you have God realization. God realization is not integral yoga, truth realization is integral yoga. That one should be identified with truth. Mother does not believe in any qualification of the child. Mother can visualize the hunger of the child. Mother does not have any PhD course to understand the hunger of the child. Mother visualize. Mother can feel that my child is hungry. This is the visualization of hunger. That mother can visualize the child. That you go and take your meal, then we shall discuss. This is mother. Because she can see the hunger. She can feel the hunger. It is very near to truth. Then comes intuition. Intuition is the personal experience. Personal experience. But that visualization will become vibrant. It will become personal. Personal means here we are different from person to person. My intuitive mind, how my mind works, that may be different from others because there are many students in the classroom, but the intuitive status of each and every student is different from others. How did you grasp the truth? You visualized the truth. How did you grasp the truth? That becomes your personal experience. And then comes the overmind. Overmind is very, very important because that is fundamental consciousness. In overmind, your mind becomes, your consciousness becomes cosmic. Your consciousness becomes cosmic. The stages we are now discussing, you are a different type of a personality in different age. You are not the same person. You are not the same person, the state of mind, dependent mind, like you are not the same person when you are in the higher mind, and you are a different person in the state of illumined mind, and you are still a different person in the intuitive state of mind, because and your activities are different, your world views are different, your realization is also different. Over mind is the cosmic mind. Cosmic mind means, I am giving an example. My child is playing there. I can see the dangers, I can see the bad consequences, what may happen to my child, because my neighbor's child is playing there, somebody's child is playing there. If I have the same sympathy, same feeling, same consciousness for any child who is playing on the road, my mind is cosmic. I am worried for my
Pramod sir, Pramod sir, Pramod sir.
The sound is gone. I think he is delinked.
Okay, Pramod sir, you are not audible. Pramod sir, you are not audible. Perhaps you are disconnected.
Yes.
Pramod sir, Pramod sir.
It appears that he is disconnected.
Okay, okay. We have to wait. We have to wait for some time. Okay, she will come. He will come. Pramod sir. Do you listen me? Pramod sir. Pramod sir. Your voice is not audible. Pramod sir. We have to wait. We have to wait.
His link is disrupted, sir.
Okay, Professor Srivastava, we have to wait. We have to wait.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah.
Pramod sir, please, comes. Okay, Pramod sir. Carry on. Pramod sir. Pramod sir. Okay, Pramod sir. You are not audible. Oh, carry on. Pramod sir.
Pramod sir, kindly unmute yourself.
Pramod sir, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello.
Actually, you are speaking on different dimensions of mind, as psychic mind and
Over,
overmind,
overmind,
overmind, overmind.
overmind means when our individual mind automatically becomes the cosmic mind. Automatically becomes, and that is possible when we have gone through the lower qualifications, that from mind to higher mind, then higher mind to illumined mind to intuitive mind. Then only our mind can become cosmic mind. Cosmic mind means when we can do, in Bhagavad Gita it is said that one can be able to do any action for Lokasangraha. This is an ability. Everybody can't do this. Whenever you do something, you will think that no, this work should be contribution for the whole society. My work should be universal. That many people will be benefited by my work. If this is bad for me, it is bad for all. If it is good for me, it should be enjoyed by all. So this is an indication of a transformation. How the individual gets more into the cosmic, because we have to first, overnight we can't become Sachidananda. For Sachidananda, our individual mind should be merged with the cosmic mind first. We should be cosmic. From the primary school we shall go to the high school, then we shall go to the intermediate, then to the college, then to the university. So there are different stages of development. So individual mind becomes cosmic. We become, that is called the over mind. And if one's mind has not become cosmic, he cannot have the truth realization, that is called supermind. Supermind is nothing but the truth consciousness. Here there is no distinction between truth and consciousness. That is truth consciousness. That means when your mind is become cosmic, you are only truth oriented. Your consciousness is truth focused. As it is said that you don't, Lord Krishna said to Arjuna, you don't think of who will be killed, or whom you are going to kill. Your focus is protection of dharma. Similarly, in the supermind state, there is only focus of truth, only truth consciousness, and that is possible when the individual mind has transformed to the state of a cosmic mind. So, so the personal transformations which occur within us, that we can experience, that is the higher mind state, the illumined mind state, intuitive state. These are the personal manifestations. But when our mind becomes cosmic, it can be realized, it can be visualized by others. What we are before others' impression, how others look at us, how others think of us, because when our mind becomes cosmic, it becomes holistic, it becomes ତାକୁ କହନ୍ତି ବିସ୍ତାରିତ ମନ, ମନର ବିସ୍ତାର ହେଇଯିବ, ମନଟା ୱାଇଡର ହେଇଯିବ, ମନଟା ସେଇଠି ଆସିବ ବସୁନ୍ଧୈବ କୁଟୁମ୍ବକମ୍, ସେଇଠି ଆସିବ ଅଲ୍ଟ୍ରୁଇଜିମ୍, ସେଇଠି ଆସିବ କମ୍ପାସନ୍, ସେଇଠି ଆସିବ ଲଭ୍. Love means that. Love means whatever you do with a cosmic mind, this is my pleasure and please share my pleasure. If this is your pain, please give me a share of your pain. This is the activity of a cosmic mind. This is the activity of a cosmic mind. So once in that is the selfless mind. Selfless mind. Selfish mind is individualistic mind. Selfish mind is individualistic mind. Selfless mind is the cosmic mind. There we can do something, we can serve the society, we can serve the nation, we can do everything. And supermind is truth consciousness, and that is the higher state of human evolution. The evolution of mind, that is supermind, that is truth consciousness, and that truth is Satchidananda. So truth is Satchidananda. Direct truth consciousness is supermind, and to reach at the supermind, our mind should be cosmic, that is overmind, and that state of overmind is possible by the different levels of consciousness, different layers of consciousness that we discussed. But the interesting point is that we human beings we human beings have a different levels of consciousness, different layers of consciousness, and accordingly we live in different worlds. We live in different world. My world is different from your world, and everybody's world is different from others, because the world he lives in, the world he interprets, is the world of his own consciousness. Suppose somebody is in the state of mind, then he will live in the mental world. Suppose somebody is in the state of overmind, he will live in the supramental world. The world will be different, the feelings will be different, the activities will be different, responses will be different. Therefore, we are all different human beings. We have different personalities. And that difference proves that there is a difference between the higher reality and the lower reality. That difference we can experience through the difference of our personalities. That myself is different from his, because our levels of consciousness are different. So, go from my side. So our levels of different, our levels of consciousness are different. Therefore, our worlds are different, our behaviors are different, our responses are different. The same thing that gives you pain, that may give me pleasure. The same thing that gives me pleasure, that may give you pain, because that object does not bear the quality of giving pleasure and pain. It is our response, it is our understanding, it is our consciousness. How do we react? How do we respond? How do we take? How do we look at that thing? So that determines the thing. Okay. So the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo is wonderful in the sense it accepts integralism means which accepts the opposites. It accepts the lowest grade and also the highest grade. And the highest is nothing but the lowest. The same entity is manifested in different degrees, different levels of consciousness. And what is the status of a man? Here, by consciousness, we do not understand that it is human consciousness. The consciousness can be, the same consciousness is there in the matter, in one with one intensity, one level of intensity, another level of intensity. It is there in the plants. Then it is in different gradation in different levels, and man is a privileged animal because man is having the highest possibility of manifestation of consciousness. It is man who can understand the gradation. It is man who can understand the descent through ascent. It is man who can understand the lila of lila and maya. Okay, so the world is not explained away like other traditional philosophers, according to Sri Aurobindo. The practical life of a man is not neglected, matter is not neglected, human body is not neglected, society is not neglected, human life is not neglected, therefore it is integral. Integralism means which does not neglect anything, rather which includes everything. So Purna, it is Purna, it is all inclusive. It is all inclusive, inclusive of all, even all opposites. There is no negation, no denial. So thank you. Due to network problem, um, okay. Anyway, if any question, please carry on. Kailash sir, please carry on. Kailash sir is not here. If any question, please ask. Srivastavaji, please speak something.
Yeah. Let me first congratulate you for your wonderful speech in minute detail, and just you have taken the empirical survey so that it can be made very intelligible to the human mind and one can understand it. You have taken the simile of a mother and a baby and all these things. One thing is, in the Upanishad you will find about consciousness. It has been said, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. It is minutest than the Anu, and it is the superior than, and it is the highest stage also. So it is the combination of the both, and that's why the involution and evolution process that starts here, it is not from the outside, it is not from the beyond, but it is from within itself. And it is very nice that when the consciousness dawns in the matter gives birth to the life. And this is how you have very beautifully narrated that the evolutionary process starts involution and evolution. And this is the beautiful way to explain the things. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thanks so much, Professor Das, for your very thought-provoking talk on the concept of evolution, reality, and ideal logam in the philosophy of Sri Aurobindo. Actually, it is a very broad topic. Pramod said, it is very difficult also to complete the three concepts within a short span of time. It is very, very difficult. Nobody can give a concrete analysis on the three concepts within a short span of time. But you have tried to give a holistic point of view on these 3 points. And as I have listened and pointed some of the points that I want to uh, reflect upon them. You have said that how matter and spirit appear to be so different, but they are same and they are integral to each other. Sri Aurobindo says that spirit is evolved out of matter, and matter is transformed into spirit. Matter is also conscious. The same consciousness is present in different forms in matters, life, and mind. The consciousness is objective principle that you have said, and and this objective principle is same in everything and everybody. This consciousness is purposive and objective in everything. It may be matter or mind or ignorance. That is everything is the manifestation of the consciousness that you have discussed. And you have also discussed that how consciousness is there in matter and even in inconscient matter, as Sri Aurobindo calls it, Leela. And you have very beautifully explained that is how it is pure existence and pure consciousness and pure bliss. To realize the Sachidananda, the reality, one has to go with the Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. And to have this highest reality or ultimate reality, one has to, and it has to be realized by human being. And Sri Aurobindo, as you have said, that the highest reality is present everywhere. This is the beauty of the existence. Sri Aurobindo Sri Aurobindo came to this earth to tell the beauty of this beauty of this lila, that the pure consciousness or spirit descends in matter and matter ascends into spirit or higher. That Professor Srivastava has also told. It is called involution of the divine. Srivastava told. It is called involution of the divine. Without involution, there is no evolution. The divine has concealed itself in the energy and form of matter. And matter is only a support and means for progressive manifestation of the spirit. Because of this involution or nivartana, the evolution, that is a vivartana of the power beyond mind is possible, and it is also inevitable. The divinity or Sachidananda is involved here and is emerging. At every moment it is emerging. It implies that all the infinite powers should emerge one after another till the whole glory is embodied and visible, as Sri Aurobindo envisaged. That's as the super mind, or and it will be a life of the perfectly harmonious, good, beautiful, happy, and fully conscious. And this is the creation, this creation that Sri Aurobindo envisaged. And and Sri Aurobindo came to this earth in order to announce this truth, announce this beautiful thing actually before the human being. And about Intel logo, you have said that, and you know that the Intel logo is also called as Samagra Yoga or Purna Yoga or supramental yoga. And it is a means for ascending towards God and descending of the Godhead into the embodied nature. The ascent is achieved by the upward aspiration of the soul and mind, life and body. So everything that you have said, but it needs much time to elaborate the entire thing, okay, before the students. And each topic needs 1 hour more, okay, to explain and to have a clear-cut exposition before the students. Okay, thanks so much, Pramod sir, for the very beautiful analysis today. And we have been much benefited by your talk today. I have listened to every word of your speech, and really I have been benefited out of the speech, and it needs much time, okay, to be acquainted and to present the whole thing before the audience. Okay, thanks so much, Pramod sir.
There are two questions in the chat box by Smriti Rekha. Smriti Rekha is now is a lecturer in logic and philosophy. She is a very good student and also a very good faculty. She has a question that what exactly the no. Say first question, how mind transcends mind. Okay, and the second question is what exactly the consciousness means, and it is objective. Sir, I can understand the process of ascent to descent. Process can okay. um, sir, her
Yes,
beautiful
sir.
her beautiful
Sir.
question is yes, sir.
Okay, okay, Pramod sir, you have
Yes,
very beautifully analyzed the concept of reality, the concept reality and Satyanda. Okay,
hmm, hmm.
actually, I can't say anything more than you. Okay, that you have discussed. But regarding ascent and descent, okay, a student has to need to know that what is the ascent and what is the descent. Hello, hello. Hello. Yes. And evolution is of okay many forms. And Sri Aurobindo has accepted man as a transitional being. Transitional beings means he's not completely a material being or not a spiritual being, as you have already taught. And evolution is going on. And the Darwin's evolution ended with the appearance of man and the appearance of a mind also. But evolution did not end at man, did not end at mind also. It is a continuous process, and at present it is also going on. But Sri Aurobindo says that the spirit is the spirit is hidden itself in the matter. Even it is also hidden in inconscient matter, and it is said to be involution. Okay, and because of this involution, because spirit has hidden itself in the form of matter, in the form of inconscient matter, the evolution is possible. It is possible to manifest. It is possible to transform from one state to another, from the matter to life, and from life to mind, and from mind to supermind. So there are two processes. One is upward process, another is downward process. One is going ahead, going upward, another is going the downward. And the two things are necessary. That is, Sri Aurobindo had said that one needs aspiration and one is the call. Okay, one has to do aspiration in order to go ahead, in order to ascend towards the spirit, from matter to spirit, or from matter to matter to mind, and to mind to the different forms of mind, and to the supermind. So aspiration of the individual is necessary. Sadhana of the man is necessary. So without aspiration, without sadhana, one cannot have any evolution of mind to supermind. And the call is also necessary. The whole being has to call the divine, has to call the Sachidananda, has to call the reality or the supermind or the spirit in order to come down. When two things, the two things sometimes go together. One is aspiration, another is call. Okay, so aspiration goes on and call also goes on. Then that is one is evolution, another is involution. But without involution, evolution is not possible. Because the self, because the spirit, because the Sachidananda, because the my truth consciousness has embodied itself, has hidden itself in the matter, it is possible for transformation from matter to mind and from mind to supermind. So this is the short way of having a discussion on evolution and involution. Hello.
Sir, can I respond to the questions of
Yes, 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 yes,
very briefly?
yes.
Yes, I really appreciate the summary of Dr. Maharana. Very beautifully he explained. Two things are there. One is suppose man fails to understand the reality. Suppose all human beings are ignorant. Nobody has no knowledge. Still, there is the cosmos. There is the design in cosmos. There is a planning in the cosmos. Suppose all human beings are ignorant. Nobody has no knowledge. Nobody is a professor. Nobody is a teacher. We have no knowledge. Suppose we are all all just like animals. We don't have any rationality. Still, there is the cosmos. There is cosmic order. There is a purpose. There is purposive change. Okay, so this is the cosmic status of reality. But this cosmic status is understood by a specific being called man. We are fortunate that we are discussing that cosmic order. We are fortunate that we are able to realize that cosmic order to some extent, and that is different from person to person. So there are two stages. One is the reality, and the other is the understanding of the reality or the realization of the reality. So far as we are discussing about understanding of the reality or realization of the reality, that is human consciousness. That is human consciousness. When we are discussing about the cosmic order, that there is a plan, there is a design, there is a teleology, there is a systematic order in the cosmos, that is objective consciousness. Somebody has asked how consciousness is objective. Objective consciousness means the plan, the design, the awareness that is there without man. When man interferes, man interprets, man speaks something, man tries to analyze, man tries to understand, that is human consciousness. But consciousness as such is there in the cosmic order because everything is not regulated by human intelligence. By our consciousness, by our intelligence, we do not regulate the movement of sun, movement of a moon, movement of a, or the activities of the nature. We don't regulate that. So they are there and they are systematically there. So that systematization is not possible without a consciousness force. So that is not a dogmatic consciousness, that is a very forceful consciousness. Forceful consciousness means consciousness in work, consciousness that works. And how it works? It works in the process of descent and also ascent. The higher possibility is there in the lower possibility. Therefore, the lower evolves to the higher. Otherwise, it is impossible. A child becomes an adult only because the adulthood is already present in the present. It is Satkaryavada. We know Satkaryavada. That effect can be thought of coming from the cause which is there in the cause. Satkaryavada. Similarly, the lower will ascend to the that higher which is already present in the lower. But here Sri Aurobindo says the involvement of the higher into the lower is a conscious involvement that is called lila. Okay, man, this is the beauty. You understand? You can't logically explain how your mother loves you. You should not have any logical explanation. Beyond all explanations, your mother loves you unconditionally. Logic does not rule this cosmos. Logic does not rule human life. Love and emotion, Shraddha, Ananda, joy, Leela, these things rule this universe. That is the message of Sri Aurobindo. So the higher wants, desires to become many. Therefore, he is calling involvement. Involution means the plunge of consciousness into ignorance. That means I know that I am conscious, but when I am teaching my students, I think that I am their friend. I am one of their friend. That means I plunge into the level of my students. So ignorance is not ignorance as we generally understand. Ignorance is nothing but a level of consciousness. This is a very beautiful interpretation of ignorance according to Aurobindo. And Aurobindo is speaking about sevenfold ignorance. 7 types of ignorance are there. Every state of your knowledge is a state of your ignorance. Similarly, every state of your ignorance is a state of your consciousness. That means we are we are knowing gradually. We are realizing the truth gradually. So once we totally become merged with the real nature of ourself, that is called the final stage of absorption or the final state of we can call it liberation or we can call it a total transformation. But the point is, one is the human level of understanding of the truth, and the other is truth itself. Truth itself is metaphysics. Truth itself is ontology that exists without man. Okay, that is objective. But man is a privileged animal who can understand, who can grasp these hidden truths. Therefore, we are discussing about the different levels of understanding, different levels of consciousness through man.
Pramod sir,
Yes, sir.
actually, man is a privileged animal in the sense that man has divinity in itself.
Everybody, sir.
Yes,
Everybody. Even
yes,
a, even a
yes,
dog.
yes, 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 yes,
Even a dog has that
uh,
divinity.
yes,
Matter has also that divinity.
yes,
Divinity is there in everything.
yes,
But man is privileged that man can understand that he has
yes, yes,
divinity. He has
yes,
divinity.
yes, yes, yes. He is
Okay.
conscious of the thing that he is a truth consciousness.
He is conscious that he is conscious. So man
Yes,
has a self consciousness.
yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Therefore, we are privileged, and therefore we are civilized.
And the entire process of evolution is purpose. Is
Purpose.
purpose. Is object.
Purpose.
Is
Object.
purpose.
Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
life has a purpose. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So now we shall conclude here. Sir, Kaya sir, should we end here? Kaya sir? Hello?
Okay. Today it is a very beautiful session. I am very much benefited out of this talk. And today I joined it with my own interest because I have an interest to read Sri Aurobindo and to understand Sri Aurobindo. Okay, it is going on that reading Sri Aurobindo and understanding Sri Aurobindo it is a very difficult task for everybody. And today, whatever Professor Das has told us regarding the 3 concepts, that is evolution, reality, and intel yoga, Uh, it is very much. It is very clear for all of us the way he tried to understand. He tried to explain all the things before us. Okay, it's very clear, and many things that we have to learn from Professor Das, because many things that he has told, okay, that is from the background of his deep philosophical understanding. So today is a very beautiful session. I must congratulate Professor Das for his deep understanding of the topic, for his way of explanation of the things, such a very big task into a very simple simple position. He has tried to do it, and I offer my gratitude to Professor Das to have this and to very beautifully presented his talk. And I must offer thanks to all the participants in this webinar. They have also Smritilekha, Sabani, and Professor Srivastav has also contributed their question in order for better understanding, better explanation. Thanks so much to all the question raisers, and thanks so much to all the viewers to be with us and to make this evening very meaningful and beautiful. And thanks also to Professor Das, and thanks also to Professor to Madam Sonnalata to be with us for hosting this session. Thanks so much.